Welcome back. Welcome. Right. Let's get my mic turned on again. Hello.
Hello.
I can
was
hear
like,
you.
you're deafened.
Yeah, I had to tap back in. I said hi to my stream first, so.
Okay. Well, hello to my stream and Nibiru's stream at the same time. I don't
Hell
play
yeah.
favorites.
Wow. Hell yeah. Well, welcome back everybody to, this is episode 2 now. We did it. We made it through one episode at least. Yeah.
We made it through
episode
2 books.
Yeah. Wow, we did it.
Wow.
What an accomplishment.
It feels good to read. So
it does. Part of the reason that I agreed to this actually was because I wanted to read more, so that's fair.
yeah.
Mission accomplished a little. All right. Well, let me switch my thing over here. So, do you want to intro what we're doing this week?
Sure. So this week we are providing our review for Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon. And we're very excited about that. I have been wanting to talk about this for the entire week.
This whole week
and
has
I have
been
no one to talk to.
This whole week has been so stressful. For those, we live together, for those of you who don't know. So like we read these books like throughout the week and we don't discuss it at all until this podcast. And this book in particular has been so difficult not to discuss. I think that we both kind of have very strong kind of negative opinions about this book, and it's probably going to low-key piss off a few people in this fandom maybe. So sorry in advance, but like hopefully we at least make some valid points where you can be like, okay, I guess that's fair, and still love this book.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's about what you like. But there are some things that we're going to point out that maybe we couldn't take, but that's our difference from you.
Exactly.
And you can take that.
And you can start a podcast of your own if you want to voice your own opinions.
Yes.
But hell yeah. All right. Would you like to read the book summary real quick for people who haven't? This is the second book in the Ice Barbarians series. We actually did a video last week on the first one, and the book was really promising and there was a lot of potential. So we thought that we could, continue, and hopefully it would get a little bit better, but it really it didn't, in my opinion. So, but yeah, you want to read that summary?
That's fair. Yes, I'll get into that summary here so we all know what's happening. I'll stop. Okay. So, Georgie and Vectal stopped resonating long enough to save everyone, and now all the human women get a free worm, plus lucky contestants get a bonus big blue husband. Liz takes stock of these options and chooses death, but Rahash's worm has already decided it's horny for Liz, and he forces Liz to accept the Quee. Rahash breaks tribal law and takes Liz away from the tribe, hoping that some time alone together will allow Stockholm Syndrome to kick in, or at least give him time to get her pregnant. Thank you, Nikolai, for choosing the best time to make your exit.
For sure.
All right. The Quee is humming and thrumming and buzzing its little heart out, trying to get Rahash and Liz to mate. But slowly, they develop an appreciation for each other through their shared hobbies and skills. Also, through a lot of one-sided hate sex. A big showdown in the snow leaves Rahash injured, and Liz is forced to choose between saving or abandoning him. Liz has herself a little girl boss moment and manages to drag him back to their shared cave, where she nurses him back to health. Hunters sent out by Vectal find the pair and make them return to the family cave so yes,
okay, my internet went out for just a second.
Ooh.
Yeah. My stream is still live though, so we're good. So sorry. But hell yeah. So the book does take place in the same universe as last time. So we will introduce the characters from here. There were a few more like new ones. So I have a list of like right off the bat. First of all, I thought it was like kind of overwhelming, even though we had already been introduced to the girls' names beforehand. Like literally within the first like 10 pages, they were like, oh, here's 6 new characters you got to keep track of. Surprise. And then also like other tribe members to match them up. But
yeah,
you know, then
that's
he
fair.
stole her away and then that wasn't an issue. So because it was just the
Yeah.
2 of them.
Also, I'm not quite sure if this is how it works, but it seems like it is, where Ruby Dixon was introducing or kind of featuring one girl and couple at the end, it seemed like, and then they would lead into
The
the next book.
Yeah, like the next couple, yeah.
Because from what I read, I would assume that the next book would be about Kira and that other guy, who I don't remember his name because there
Ihako?
were so many characters. Yeah, Ihako.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
were just so many that were just thrown in there all of a sudden. I agree. First, we didn't do the trigger warning actually. So I'm gonna switch to that real quick.
We'll
But
go
yeah,
back.
same trigger warning as last time. The themes are the same. With this alien
Unfortunately,
abduction.
I'm really looking at this and realizing, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
every single one.
Still the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate. But yeah, so
God.
trigger warning, there you go. Don't watch if you don't like being, you know, if abductions will trigger you. No.
Yeah.
Cuz that's all this is. But yeah. So, let's see. We had from last time, the Awake girls, we had Georgie and Liz, who is now our main character, and then Kira, Megan, Josie, and Tiffany. I have these all written down. And then immediately we were introduced to the Pod girls. So the girls, like, the book starts, it started like a little bit before the last book ended, which I thought was kind of cool. Like, because it overlapped like a tiny bit and then showed a different perspective, which was cool.
I agree. That was good.
Yeah, but so the new girls were Claire, Ariana, Harlow, Nora, Arlene, and Stacy as well. And then, yeah, there were like new Saquis as well, which is the name of the alien tribe. But Rahash is the our other love interest here on the alien side. So, do you want to say a little bit about Liz? I don't know what all you have written down for her character details.
Okay. Yeah, sure. For Liz, there's not much about Liz. They keep the humans fairly nondescript. But Liz is tall, we know that, and she has long, wavy blonde hair. And she's from Oklahoma, which becomes important in the story because as is introduced, she is interested in learning to hunt.
Yes, that
like
was a
the rest of
common
them.
yeah, that was a common theme throughout the entire book. She was just fixated on hunting. Yeah, so I have written down from Oklahoma, her main hobby is hunting, and then also she was a data entry clerk.
Oh, yes.
So I was like, that's such a boring, monotonous job. Like, she does not seem like the type of person that would fit.
Mm-hmm.
But also, to be fair, it's like she's working alone, probably, I would say. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, that would be a fair assumption.
And I can see why. She's a bit abrasive.
Oh my
A bit abrasive.
A bit abrasive
is an understatement. She's just hostile for no reason all the time. Something that I wrote down about the hunting thing, though, at the very beginning of the book, I was like, why didn't she either go with Georgie or why didn't she go instead of Georgie? Like, if she's the hunter of the group, I don't remember if she was injured maybe when they had first got there. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
I remember specifically her foot was broken, like bones in her foot were broken, and she actually fell behind the group when they were going to get the worms.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that Rahash ended up carrying her
Yeah,
over
that's
his
fair.
shoulder.
That's fair. I knew that she, like, her health, like, really deteriorated in this book, but I wasn't sure if, like, when they had first landed. So I guess that does make sense why they didn't go. But I, like, wrote down here because we had talked about last podcast how it was really weird to us that Vectal was the chief of the tribe.
Yes.
So, like, in my mind, that would have been a way better opening, would be for, like, Rahash to have been out in one of the hunting caves because he is a hunter. And then for, like, Liz to have gone out and then find him or whatever. And I was like, they could have written like a really cute, like, do you remember in like The Lion King when Nala and Simba find each other? It could have been like that. It could have been like like they're hunting each other, they're tracking each other, and then they like find each other. And I don't know, that would have been an interesting scene, I think.
That I'm mad now because that would have been so cool.
Right? Not to tell you how to write your novels, Ruby, but like that would have been dope.
Yeah, I feel a little bit robbed. I like this Alyssa edited version.
Yeah, we'll just imagine it that way. How about that? Just ignore the first book completely. Pretend it didn't happen.
That would have given the women so much more agency too.
Yeah, right? I agree. It just, yeah, but like, you know, it is what it is. I didn't write this series.
Damsels, the lot of them.
I guess.
I guess. Even the ones that could take care of themselves, they ended up being damseled because they were injured.
That's fair. That is fair. Other things to note about Liz. I said she was like way more sarcastic than Georgie was.
Yes.
There's one quote specifically, like, here's the thing. She was very abrasive as a character and like very hostile, I would say, towards people and like the other girls specifically, which got on my nerves. But her humor was pretty funny at times, like at the very like in the beginning, and then like just as it went on, it was just she was just way too hostile. But one of the quotes that I liked, she said, you know, when you go to the grocery store for beer and chips are on sale and the next thing you know you have a cart full of chips, just call me Pringles. When she was like talking about the situation of the girls being abducted and how she was like extra cargo or whatever. Because the pod girls were like the ones that the aliens actually wanted. So, but yeah, that was like really funny to me. I was like, okay, all right, that's a good joke. Like, I like that.
I thought Liz was really funny. Honestly, even her abrasiveness was hilarious to me at times.
It was funny at times, yes, but, and we'll get into this later, I don't know if you have picked up on my hot take. I have a hot take that just completely was off-putting to me about Liz, and I could not unsee it. So, like, the hostility just, like, rubbed me the wrong way. We'll get into that later.
I'm excited to hear this. I'm so ready to hear all of your opinions.
Hell yeah. We will do you want to do hot takes now or do you want to do those after we finish the
already
characters?
Introduced half the characters,
okay,
so I think we have to introduce at least Rahash, then we could do hot takes.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see, what else did I say? Oh, I said that her bedside manner with the other, like the pod girls, was absolute shit. Yeah, there's just a lot of that. The only thing I had, she was like really opposed to the idea of the parasite, which I'm sure that'll come up in red flags later, but she said that it was like with her hunting background or whatever that she was freaked out by parasites, and I thought that was really funny because like same a little bit, so I get it. But yeah. But yeah, do you want to introduce how they describe Rahash?
The man of the hour.
The man of the hour, yes.
Yes. He is the tallest of the Sakwi, and he has a lean build, and he has darker grayish blue skin. His face is described as broad and scarred down one side with deep gouges that cover his forehead, eye, and continue down to his neck. And one of his horns is broken and jagged, leaving him look looking askew, so he looks kind of crooked.
Yeah.
There's another very important aspect of Rahash. Do we want to reveal this now, or do we want to wait for the trophies?
You can say it now. That's fine. That won't ruin it.
The most important thing for Rahash really is that he does have the biggest dick in the tribe.
He do be
He
having
has
the biggest eggplant.
He's been scoping it out at the hot springs.
Yeah, he apparently has been
and
spying on
he's
everyone
aware.
else. He's very aware that his dick is the biggest. That was a major plot point that was mentioned a couple times.
They made sure we knew.
Yeah.
And I guess I appreciate it for authenticity. And we know we're not sweating the small stuff here. We have very big, important things to focus on.
Yep. The only other thing that I have to mention about Rahash is that they did describe him as like darker shade of blue for his skin. I think it was Liz that said it makes him seem more of an Eeyore than the rest. So he was compared to Eeyore.
Yes.
Throughout the book as well, which was kind of funny.
And then I would describe his personality as shy, quiet, stoic kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
He knows when to shut the fuck up. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's not much of a talker. He, at one point in the book, he does talk about that. He's like, I don't really talk around my tribe at all, like preferring silence usually. And then he said something along the lines of like, but I'm doubting that I actually do prefer that. Like after having been around Liz and she just constantly is talking, which I thought was really cute. He's like, this isn't so bad. That's all right. I'm kind of down with this. It was very cute.
That was really cute.
Yeah.
Had lots of cute moments.
Before all the cute moments, they both did not like each other.
No.
No. It was very much an enemies to lovers type of situation, but also like with kind of a Stockholm syndrome-y type of vibe. It was very wild. But yeah, Rahash straight up calls his Kui, which for those of you who don't know, that's the parasite that these people have to ingest on this planet in order to survive. So he straight up calls his Kui foolish because in this society, the parasite picks your mate. And he called it foolish for resonating for Liz specifically because she was injured at the time. And he was like, really, the weakest of all of these humans? Really? You're going to give me the weakest of all of these people? No, he was not about it. And then Liz, for the longest time, was so not about him and so mean to him, too. Like, so many comments. And he, should we say this now that he, like he knew English? And she did not realize that he understood English, and so she was saying like some really mean shit, and he would hear it, and then he would be like, I don't know why my mate hates me so much, and it was just like really sad about it, and I was like, oh my god, I felt like so bad for him.
I know,
like the whole time. But
every time we listen to the audiobook, right? And the person reading the audiobook, he would repeat this line that Liz said, which is that Rahash is scarier than most.
Yeah.
And it would just break my heart
every time. Like that voice actor definitely did a good job. For sure. I just felt so bad for him.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready for hot takes?
I suppose we are ready for hot takes, yes. Will you say some words
real quick? Show this.
Sorry.
Yeah. Are you having trouble hearing me?
Cutting out.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's okay, we'll cut this out in post. Ha ha ha. All right, we're just gonna run with one, I guess, working.
Okay. I am currently showing that art now that we've described them?
Oh, yes, I forgot about the art, actually. We should have had that up before. Yeah. So, Rahash and Liz, this is how they look. Well,
Yes.
if we go to
Artist
the next, yes.
rendition here from Calico Moss on
Yes.
Twitter.
Full creds to them. It was amazing. They also do, this is like the most tame of all of their fan art for sure. So, you know, not safe for work by any means, but definitely fun to check out if you guys want to subscribe.
Very talented.
Oh, for sure. But yeah.
Okay. Now, are
You
you
want to go to hot
excited?
takes though?
Yes.
Oh, my screen is like not. Hold on 1 second. My screen is not capturing my slideshow.
Okay.
I might have to re-show that picture.
Oh dear. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Stand
Technical
by
difficulties.
while we troubleshoot these technical difficulties.
I guess,
I
I mean,
love it.
luckily, if you're over here on the Adrian Games Twitch, nice fan art.
That is fair. Okay, there's presenter view. Now I need to go back. Okay. I don't know why this is not.
Water Kitty said that Rahash looks like
there we go.
Sully.
Looks like
Oh, you
Sully.
fixed it? Yeah, Sully.
That's so funny. Fair enough. He does a little bit. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. So, you know, there we go. Now it's on screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we ready for hot takes? Am I first? Am I doing the hot takes first?
Yes.
All right.
This was your idea.
That's fair. Dramatic hot take. Liz is a fake feminist and a pick me, and I have receipts. That's my hot take.
That was like, wow, that was shocking. Okay. Now it's my turn.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All
right, let's get this. This is not a romance story.
Oh.
And I have receipts.
Not a romance story, huh?
Yeah. The whole saga. Not a romance.
Not a romance. Okay. All right. I'm intrigued by that.
Yes.
You're right. That is a hot take. We also, again, we did not compare notes at all this week. So I have been dying to say this to Adrian.
Yes.
This whole time. Oh, that's funny.
I'm really excited to hear this when we finally go over those.
Yeah, it'll be in the red flag section, but
yes.
For now, let's get back into our like biome, our scenery. We can describe a little bit about the planet.
Yes. The ice hole.
Yeah. So again, in this book, they described it as not Hoth. So for all you Star Wars fans out there, you know, the references never end. They're always there. But yeah.
That's fair.
We did find last week we talked about how they described like purple crystal mountains. So I did kind of find like sort of what I imagine that would look like off in the distance. But, you know.
They're beautiful.
Right.
I want to lick them. They're probably flavored like a grape, maybe
tasty.
I don't know, mint flavor.
Refreshing. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's some more pictures. You know, just imagine lots of ice. Lots and lots and lots of ice.
Cold.
And very cold.
Trees that are feathery but not the right color. Beautiful alien scenery.
Yeah. And more trees that are, again, not the right color. You know? But yeah, so if you were abducted onto this planet and stuff and you had to be in Liz's shoes, how would you feel, my dude? How would this go for you?
If I was in Liz's shoes, okay, I have broken this down into a few different feelings.
Yeah.
Firstly, do I fuck the alien? 100%.
Yeah.
But how happy would I be? 2, Rahash's sexiness brings it from a 1 to a 2.
From a 1 to a 2.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I also said like a 2, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like the first one I rated it a little bit higher because I was like, oh, this will be all right. It's whatever. There's potential. But like this book just, I don't know, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So less happy. Less happy. Less happy in this situation.
Was grinding your gears, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Also, I'm flipping back through this slideshow now for everyone because I realized it still was not projecting, but we fixed it now, so we're good. But yeah. So anyway, we have some feedback from people who took a survey. And
Yeah.
we asked them as well how happy they would be in this situation. Majority of people said that they would not be happy in this situation, and they rated it a 1. They said, nope, could not be for me. Could not see myself in this situation.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, like, thank you so much to everybody that did fill out the survey.
Hell yeah.
We had so many more responses than I thought we would have.
We had quite a few, and I'm like curious if anyone's tuning in, but you know, say hi if you are. We do have chat open, so if you guys have opinions that you want to like contribute throughout the podcast, we are totally willing to read those. So, but yeah.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get into red flags, shall we?
Yes. Our favorite.
Right. Hell yeah. So we're doing Rahash first. What red flags did you have for him?
Okay. I mean, oh, Rahash. Okay. I have 4.
Okay.
I'm just going to give that to you.
Okay.
Rahash does not respect Liz's agency. Obviously, he forces her to take a parasite into her body because he doesn't want her to die. Like, that's very selfish. That was not his decision to make. So doing this, I also feel like he infantilizes her in that way, that he seems to think that she and the rest of the human women are unable to take care of themselves.
Right.
Right. And then he also literally ties Liz up and keeps her hostage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, that's kind of all him not respecting Liz's agency, but it's so bad to like degrees that it becomes 4 red flags.
That's fair. I also had that he, along with tying her up or whatever, he was purposely keeping her without shoes because he knew that she would try to leave if she had shoes. And I was like, oh, okay. That's
Those
not
are
a good
sick
tactic,
little
sir.
details.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what your goal is.
That's fair.
On whether or not that's a good tactic, but
yeah,
not a good tactic to do to someone you supposedly are going to love.
That's fair. So you gave him, was that your rating was 4 red flags total, like out of 5 or whatever, or did you have more?
I gave him. I gave him 4 out of 5.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm pretty sure that we had the same ones for a lot of them. Yeah, literally all the same. All the same in my notes. And I think we covered everything, you know?
That's fair.
Yeah. So that
I
is
mean,
a lot. I also rate him 4. It's a lot
he
of
had
red flags.
glaring flaws.
Right.
Yes.
He definitely did. All right. Well, let's see what everyone else rated them as well.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Majority said 4.
That's
So
fair.
I
So I
guess
guess we were in the majority on that. That's fair. Hell yeah.
we are not alone. We
are
all
not.
agree.
We are not alone.
All right. Now I'm about to completely flip the script though, because you're about to ask me to give
This is
green butterflies.
right. This is like literally how it was last time for me, probably with Vector, because I rated him 5 red flags out of 5 red flags, and then I also gave him 5 green butterflies out of 5 green butterflies. So here's our green butterfly stage. Go ahead. What do you like about Rahash?
Oh gosh. I like so many things
So
about
many.
Rahash. Let me gush about this man that literally kidnapped someone. So he's hot and sensitive. I am a big sucker for people that are soft that look like they could murder me.
That's
Kind of my type. And I also really like standoffish people and the idea of being the exception.
okay.
So
That's fair.
that's very much like the Rahash and Liz vibe.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah.
That's fair too. Both of them.
And then Rahash is perfect if you have a size kink and you want to feel small and protected.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's fair.
Let's just out ourselves here. I would feel so safe
I would feel so safe with
being
him.
the little spoon of Rahash. He's also extremely doting, and my love language is definitely give me things without me asking, take care of me.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's super loyal, obviously, because I mean, his self-esteem before this is like, I'm unlovable. So,
I know.
as manipulative as this sounds, he's he's going to be very dedicated to you once you show him any love.
Yeah, which is exactly what she did. Yeah.
Yes. Next, he is able to keep up with Liz's quips. He is snarky and funny in his own way. He had some zingers in there. And I really enjoy doing a verbal back and forth. Sparring matches like that are sexy.
Yeah.
And he, as much as I give them all shit for being, as much as I give everyone of this series crap for like not respecting the women's agency and, you know, I get on my little feminist soapbox and I start shouting at the aliens.
Yeah.
Rahash at the very least learned quickly
Mm-hmm.
to respect Liz.
Right.
So that is at least something. When introduced to these ideas, they are willing to incorporate them into their society.
I have a whole, like, whenever you were talking about it makes me go into a feminist rant, I have like a whole, for the hot takes part later, like in the red flags of Liz, like there's a whole spiel about this topic. So more to come. More to come for sure. Was that all of your butterflies?
Yes, my last butterfly was pretty much just me reiterating that he didn't know he was lonely until he met Liz.
Yeah.
And now she can be his everything.
Which is very cute.
Yes, and also tragic.
Yeah. I have very strong opinions both ways about this book, so
yeah.
That's fair. I pretty much said the same thing. What do you rate him out of 5?
Oh, 5.
5 out of 5? Okay. That's
5
fair.
out of 5.
Fair enough. I think I said pretty much the same thing with like the sensitive stuff. I also said like he can flirt really well. Like there's a scene where she asks for like the water skin or something like that, and he like goes over to it, and then he pretends to like take a drink before he hands it to her, and then she like reacts, and he like looks over at her and gives her a quote devilish grin. It was very cute. And I was like, okay, you can flirt too. That's adorable. Yeah.
Charismatic king.
Hell yeah. I also
Except
gave him
not.
5 as well, I believe. Butterflies.
Yeah.
Oh no, 4.5. I gave him 4.5.
4.5.
Took a half
Okay.
point off, you know, for the captivity and all that.
I said, no, I'm blinded by these butterflies. Let me just rate him so high.
Just
You
rate him
kept your
so
head
high.
on straight.
Yeah, well, you know. I did it with Vectel last time, to be fair. So I was like, it's a 5 with all his qualms. It's fine. With all his flaws, it's a 5. The other thing that I said that is that like along the lines of him just wanting a family, essentially, he's also like he brings it up a lot that he's jealous of what Georgie and Vectel have, of like how Georgie looks at him and stuff like that, and he's constantly comparing Liz's reactions to how Georgie treats Vectel, which again just hurts him even more.
It
Like,
was so sad.
You poor guy. Yeah. So that's what I had for him. Next we shall be going on to the male wife scale. Will you read those options for us?
Oh.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
We were just gonna look at who voted
I'm sorry. You're right.
Yes.
We do have survey results.
Butterfly results indicate most people, it's very, very even, but either you felt 3 butterflies for him or you felt 5. It's amazing, or I don't know. I think the difference is the size kink, probably deciding factor.
A deciding factor. That's fair. But yeah, so a lot of people said 3. It seems like he's kind of in the middle. Just okay, which is fair. When you weigh everything out, the abduction and everything, and the forcing the parasite inside of her, not great.
Yes, definitely.
So, that's fair. All right, now we're going to the male wife girl boss scale that we have established on our channel here.
Yes. That is very important. Let me get that for you.
Let me know when you're on the screen.
Pulled up. Okay. Now, out of this ranking scale of male wife, mansplain, manipulate, gaslight, gate, keep, and girl boss, what are our rankings?
All right. So first on this slide, I do need to give a brief art cred. So earlier, he was described as buff Eeyore, and we have, courtesy of Atomic Circus here, we have buff Eeyore. So here's our main character, everybody. He's ripped. He's with a broken horn. He is buff Eeyore.
He is so good.
This is Rahash. And as we mentioned earlier, he's very, very proud of his eggplant. He is the biggest eggplant in the village, you know? He's just very, very proud of it. Brings it everywhere.
Yep.
Grew it himself.
I mean, it is attached to him.
You know? Grew it himself.
Yes.
But yeah, so, all right, you're rating first.
Okay.
On this scale, da-da-da-da-da.
On that scale, he is 75% gatekeep and 25% manipulate.
And
oh,
yeah, now explain.
Nice.
Gatekeep? Poor K.
He was gatekeeping Liz from the rest of the tribe
Okay.
and her freedom.
That's fair.
And
You do not
hoping
have
for her to
access to
develop.
Liz. I'm
Yeah,
gatekeeping her.
I am gatekeeping you from
Okay,
the.
fair enough. I
Yep.
suppose. What were you gonna say?
Alright. Oh, and then a special honorary mention to manipulate, because wanting your partner to develop Stockholm syndrome or like you once they are pregnant is manipulative.
Yeah, that's also why I have a 25% manipulate down here as well. But I
Mhm.
said male wife because he was so caring still. And he really did just want a family, you know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
But yeah, there was a lot wrong. There was a lot wrong. So I get it. Gatekeep, that's a good one. That's
Yep.
good. And then also we have an honorary participation trophy for, the eggplant.
For
He
number one
deserves it. The
eggplant.
number one eggplant in the tribe.
Yes.
All right, so results from everybody else that took this survey, it looks like we're 50-50 split between mansplain and male wife. Which, to be fair, mansplain do be happening. All the aliens do be mansplaining, so that's fair.
Yeah, I would definitely I would not disagree with anybody that picked mansplain.
Yeah.
They were right. That is like the number one theme of this book.
Yeah, for sure. And then we had still a decent amount. It was pretty evenly split, like a third each way. But we still had another one that said gatekeep as well. So fair enough.
But
I am
nobody
a little
said
surprised.
manipulate.
That's what I was saying. I am surprised that no one else picked manipulate, because I felt like that's all he was doing in that situation. He was trying to keep her away from literally everyone and from an option to escape.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, interesting stuff.
Yes.
All right, now are you ready for this discussion? This long discussion of Liz?
I'm ready. I can't wait to hear this.
I'm gonna have you go first with your red flags, because they are probably shorter than my section.
That's fair. They are.
So go ahead.
Okay. My red flags for Liz are that she's hot and cold. She is the queen of mixed signals.
Okay.
And then she is very judgmental. All of the women sort of are. They all kind of feel superior to the aliens. It feels really undeserved, especially since they are relying on the aliens so heavily to survive.
Right?
Yeah, it's so disrespectful and undeserved.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, manipulative queen.
Manipulative queen. We do not endorse that behavior on this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's a red flag, but she is very good at it.
Yes, that is fair. All right. So is that all you have for her?
Yep.
Does
my 3 red flags
correlate with your ranking, a 3 out of 5?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I, on the other hand, ranked her a 7 on the red flag scale. It's off the scale. We're putting all the red flags up right now on the screen. We're just going to pop them up there. There's so many of them. They're everywhere. All the red flags. All right. My first one. I think I touched on this a little bit. Whenever she literally just calls him ugly all the time, and like just so many names all the time, because she doesn't realize that he speaks English. And then the second that he's like, which that was a funny scene, actually, the way that she discovered that he knew how to speak English was hilarious. He was like definitely going down on her. And what did he say exactly? I forget. He was like, she said something and he responded somehow, or said something, said mine or something like that, and then she was like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
You speak English? And he was like, I do, and then just continued to go back down on her. It was hilarious. I was like, what the fuck?
Man of few words.
Man of few
I
words,
love him.
for sure. But yeah, so the second she realizes, oh, hey, he can actually understand me, then immediately she stops calling him names, which, like, obviously, but don't be calling him names in the first place. That's mean. But also, he did kidnap her, so, like, yeah, no, there's a lot. Another red flag that I gave her was specifically the daddy issues that she had. That's a red flag.
I'm offended.
Listen, I didn't say that I also do not have daddy issues. I'm not judging anyone for having daddy issues.
But it's a red flag.
Is it not? Is it not?
Okay, but hear me out. It's not
We
entirely her
have our
fault.
red flags.
Okay, that's fair.
In our lives.
Badge of honor, but also shame.
Some of them are less severe. That's why this is at the beginning of the list. You know?
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Okay, now getting into the bigger red flags, I would say, the more major stuff. The first one, I said this in the hot take, she's a fake feminist. So there's this one scene specifically where the hunters, right, they just killed the creature to get the parasite. She goes on this, what I deem is completely unreasonable feminist rant after Vectol says, now we get the queen, gather the women. She literally responds in her head, so sexist, yes, gather up all the little women folk so they can be taken care of. Now, first of all, I have many thoughts about this. First of all, sexism, this is where the feminist discussion comes in. Sexism is a second order social construct. So that means it is dependent upon how a specific culture defines and views and ranks gender, like different genders. So Liz has no idea how their society is set up. She's just projecting that onto them, thinking that that's their thinking, that they're weak or whatever and need to be taken care of, when that's not the case. They're literally dying. And hey, that's my second point, is like, baby girl, you're in the tundra, right? You're looking paler than the snow with your Casper ass, and you're sick, you're dying, you're gonna die any second. They're just trying to be efficient. They're not trying to discriminate against you. It's not a feminist thing. They're just trying to get the parasites to save you. That's all. Like, to me, that was not something that she should have gone on a feminist rant about, when they're literally just trying to save her life.
Right. I agree. That was honestly, that part of the book made me very turned off.
That's where I started to turn against Liz, for sure. Like 100%. I was like, all right, you're a little ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I feel like too, from there on out, she was just abrasive, like towards other people too.
That's fair.
Yeah. So my other point that I want to provide for the fake feminism red flag that I have here. So when she gets back to the camp, whenever Ihako and Haydn find her and Rashawn in the cave, Rashawn.
Oh my God.
I did it. That's hilarious. For reference, we played Dota 2. And we just had a conversation about how their names were similar. Anyway, yeah. So
we ruined it for ourselves.
Yeah. But later in the book, when she gets back to the camp after having been kidnapped, she is reunited with the other girls, but she keeps making hostile comments to everyone, and like specifically in reference to the other girls, like the pod girls, because they supposedly didn't have, or like weren't experiencing morning sickness with their pregnancies. And she literally, the quote is, not only do they get to sleep in the tubes, but they get the easy pregnancies too. I hate those bitches. You're a fake feminist, babe. You're not. Why are you mad at some other bitch for not having the problems that you have? You're a fake feminist.
Oh, you're right. I'm convinced. You're convincing me.
Fake. It was very off-putting. She's just straight up calls them bitches because she has morning sickness and they don't. Like, you're the only bitch here. Like, no. Okay, so then my last red flag, which I said in the hot takes too, is that she's a pick-me. So keeping that hostility in mind from the quote that I just read about calling them bitches, that like plays into it too for sure. But there's also like a weird dynamic between her and like when the other males of the Saxx tribe showed up to the cave. Like she very much like changed immediately and was like more bubbly and like try to like sleep with Roshan and like sleep or god damn it, I did it again, Rahash. Sleep with Rahash. And like she does end up sleeping with him in front of them, like, you know, often in the cave a little bit or whatever, and they end up leaving because she's so loud and like kind of performative about it.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So there's
I'm
partially
sorry.
that. I see. I wondered if that's what I was saying.
I got
feel like
so excited.
I felt like no one else was like picking up on this at all. Like I looked on the internet to see if anyone had this hot take before, but like I have more points. Don't you worry. There's more evidence that really just nails the coffin. Okay, so there's like an undertone of her showing off with that. Let's see. Oh, when she comes back to the camp as well, I think it was Kira. One of the girls was sewing because she was bored and it was just like, you know, something to do for fun or whatever. And the whole passage literally was giving vibes of like, couldn't be me. I'm not like other girls. Couldn't be me. Couldn't catch me sewing for fun. I only sew for survival. Like she mentions that she sewed her pants back in the cave or whatever, but she was like, but that was for survival. So couldn't be me. I'm not like other girls, like blah, 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 which was really annoying. And then the other like slight detail that had like not only the hostility, she was also kind of hostile towards like the female healer in the camp too. But I didn't include that because that was kind of just like, it could have just been for the situation of like, just the shock of like having a parasite or like, you know what I mean? So I didn't really include that, but she also was hostile towards the female Saxx tribe member. Like kind of questioning her job of like, well, how do you know? Like, I'm the fucking healer. What do you mean? Do you want to see like what do you mean? Like you just got here. I'm sorry. Then the other thing, like her, if you just look at like her hobby is a male dominated hobby, which like it doesn't necessarily say something, but like it definitely adds to that potential. The thing though that really, really just it's kind of a long passage that I'm about to be reading, but it just nails the last nail in the coffin that just you're a pick me. So this passage says, Georgie gives me a knowing look and lifts her chin, indicating something behind me. I look over and sure enough, there's Ihako again, pretending to look busy off on the side. That man needs a hottie, I tell him. Vechel asked him to watch over you for a bit, Georgie says in a whisper. I figured as much. I soap my arms and then start on my torso. So should I give him a show? I pretend to wash my breast in obscene fashion under the water. Stop it, Liz, Kira says, but she's blushing. You're right. If I want his attention, I should wash your breasts, I tease. Now, if that's not putting on a show for the male gaze right there, I don't know what is. Miss Ma'am. She's a pick-me. And it is also, this is the part that I told you earlier that would kind of lead into next week, our book that we're reading, because we are reading a lesbian cowgirl fantasy book type of thing. Yeah. So, but this instance is really like fetishizing women loving women for the male gaze, which was not okay. Miss Ma'am
Mhm.
was not okay. So, but yeah, that kind of transitions into next week. So real quick, I'm going to show this is the book we're doing next week, Somewhere Between Love and Justice. And at the end of this podcast, we will have a summary for it that Adrian will
Yes.
be reading. So we will get to that. But yes, those were my thoughts on Liz.
Those were your red flags for
Those were
Liz.
my red flags and my hot takes.
Let's see
Yes.
what everyone else thought about Liz now.
Yeah, see, people rated her pretty low. That's the thing. If I wouldn't have picked up on certain things, I probably also would have rated her a little bit lower, because I did genuinely think that she was pretty funny in like certain places, but
Yeah.
nope.
This book actually does a fantastic job of making me care about two kind of terrible people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, they do some unforgivable things,
Mm-hmm.
both of them, kind of,
Yeah.
and I still was like, I'm happy for you, though.
Yeah. I know, that was the thing, is like I have such strong opinions, and I knew that going into this I was gonna have something that like might anger people, because Liz, like, I just feel like Liz was set up so well to be such a cool character in the first book, and I was really, really, really let down with like a lot of her comments and stuff. It was very
Mhm.
disappointing, but yeah, so most of you rated her a 2 out of 5. I rated her off the scale, so
Yes, but you're that 5, aren't you?
I am that 5, yes.
You're part of that
I did
5.
have to put 5 instead of 7 for this survey, yes.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunately. All right, now that we have completely berated Liz,
Let's talk about what we like about her.
Yeah.
Do you want to go
Send
first?
some-
Because I bet yours are shorter, maybe.
Oh, it's for sure shorter. Yeah, I had not a single diddly dang butterfly for Liz. Not a single dang flutter. Maybe when she made that Pringles joke, but I feel like that does not count overall. So nothing. She
That's
got
fair.
nothing. Those are
All
my
right.
thoughts.
Here are some super. I feel like this is going to be rather extreme, considering your thoughts on Liz.
No, but say it. It's fine.
Okay. So here are my butterflies. There are a few. Liz is an archer, and archers are very cool and
Mhm.
badass. I
That's fair.
think that really enchanted me to her. Her whole hunting thing, I knew was going to be an issue with the society, so I was excited
Mhm.
for them to explore that, because I figured that would be occurring.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fair.
I also appreciated her ingenuity. She was on an unfamiliar planet, basically stranded with Rahash. When Rahash gets injured, like I mentioned in the summary,
Mhm.
she is forced to take care of him, and she is out in an unfamiliar world making weapons and doing basic survival stuff, but having to modify it for how everything is on that planet. And
Right.
she actually invented an entirely new weapon to them, because they had never heard of bows before.
Right. Yeah, they had no idea like what. Yeah. They had
Yeah.
never. What did they say that the closest thing to that was? I forget what they described, but they described something
They use
that was
slings.
like similar. Oh, okay. Was that what it was? That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Next thing I liked about her, I think survival skills are sexy. Take care of me, please.
Take care of me, please. Fair enough. So basically,
And I
all of
think
your
it's
stuff
nice.
is like survival skills for her.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I
Cool.
think it's nice that she wants to share a hobby with Rahash. Sharing a hobby with someone you care about is so fun and rewarding. So I was able to really romanticize that to its fullest extent.
I agree to that, except does she really want to have a hobby with Rahash, or is she just wanting to do the hobby that she likes?
I don't think that necessarily matters. I think
Okay,
it's
that's fair.
nice that they are both passionate about the same thing,
Okay, fair enough.
not necessarily that they have to be passionate about the same thing and doing it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're gonna do it together, so that's nice.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
So was that 3 out of 5 then?
I actually had more.
Oh, okay. Shoot. All right,
Yeah.
we going.
We going.
Name some more.
I also really appeal. I know I talked about this with Rahash, how he didn't know he was lonely until
Mhm.
he met Liz. Liz also had that kind of realization where she kind of realized that her life on Earth was tragic and crappy and full of little meaning.
Yeah.
So she appreciated getting back to basics,
Mhm.
in the way that back to her daddy issues, in the
Yeah.
way that her father taught her.
In the way that her father taught her. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And I also thought it was super sweet how she treated Rahash. Rahash is revealed to be someone that has not had sex before, previous to
Okay.
Liz, and I thought that Liz handled that really well.
That's fair.
And it was the right take. It wasn't like gross
Yeah.
or fetishizing, and it wasn't super mean and not with the training wheels that were required.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. I'll give her a butterfly for that. You've convinced me. That is fair.
I did it.
You convinced me of a butterfly. One single one.
I feel so proud of myself.
Fair enough. So did you give her 5 then overall?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Fair enough. We will look at the responses. It looks like, wow, okay. There was a 3-way tie here. So either you loved her or you hated her, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
There is no real in between. There was a little bit of 3s, but yeah, for the most part.
It was like
very polarizing.
A few people were very enchanted by Liz, and then most people were like, yeah, she's either okay or terrible.
Yeah. I feel like I was let down because I was so excited for her from the first book. And then I picked up on the things that I picked up on, and maybe I disappointed myself. I don't know. Maybe I should have just pretended that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, you went into this with expectations and got your feelings hurt. Is that
How
Ruby
dare
Dixon's
I?
fault?
How dare I?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She's the writer. I don't know. All right, so now we're going to rate her on the male wife to girl boss scale as well.
Yes.
We have this lovely walk-in of her.
Come on down.
Rihanna. I photoshopped her on Rihanna. She looks beautiful at her awards show.
Yeah. She is gorgeous.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's get to your rating. Doodle-doodle-doo.
The 75% manipulate, 25% gatekeep. Why did I want to say gas keep? Okay.
Gas keep. Gate light. And
you
rated her 100% manipulate.
Oh,
yeah,
that's fair.
She was very manipulative. Yeah.
The gatekeep was literally just so I could say, gatekeeping that pussy.
Gatekeeping that pussy. I forgot. That was one of the jokes that you said. That's funny. We don't discuss much, but when we do, there are some zingers. It's funny.
Yes.
All right, well, let's see what everyone else said as well. Girl boss. Everybody rated Liz a girl boss, which is fair. I mean, she does have like a lot of survival skills and, hunts and stuff like that. So I get it. I won't fault people. I get it.
Yes.
But yeah, she was very, very manipulative in our opinion. So. All right. Any additional scenes that you want to talk about?
There were just a few things. I gotta say, listening to... Okay, so in the first book, they describe the clit as a nipple. And then Vectel tells all of the other male Sakui about the nipple.
Yes, the third
and then
nipple.
They call it that for so long.
Yes, for so long.
And I'm forced to read it many, many times. And I'm sensitive. I can't. So my first thing is just, please, a shout out to the Sakui. Stop calling it a nipple. I beg of you.
They did then.
They did eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
However,
but Liz had to explain what it was called.
Yeah, and only Liz told Rahash. So is it literally something that you have to go through every book?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I feel like they don't have a word for it. So that's like why they didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think that their females have that at all. So
yeah, they were saying that.
Yeah.
In general, though, that just kind of makes me have the additional thought that I know Georgie and Vectel were not planning a merger, but I feel like some thought could have been put into some sort of education system for both, because there was just a lot of misinformation that was very easy to twist later on.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yes.
That's definitely fair. Also, I don't think that we ever, talking about the spaceship, I don't think we ever in the last one, I don't think I ever said how it was real convenient. It was a really convenient locating of the spaceship. I don't think we talked about that last time. They just like stumbled across it and just so happened that it had like a language download that they could understand each other then.
Yes. I think really this really bothers you.
It does.
I was happy that they could talk. And you were like, isn't it nice? Yeah, go ahead.
No, it just, the way that it came about was just real convenient. Like, I don't know. The way that it was written in. I guess I don't so much have a problem
convenient
of like
plot device.
No.
No?
No. I was lazy. But also,
you want them to
it's a romance
struggle.
novel, so I get it. It's fine. I get it. I also thought that it like they were communicating fairly well up until that point, though, was my thing. And like, I think I mentioned it last time that there's like something about communicating with people through nonverbal means that's like kind of special. I don't know. I thought that they were doing a fine, like an okay job. But I get it. Just real
That's
convenient. Fair. Convenient spaceship. Yeah. Do you have any more additional scenes?
There were many scenes that a lot of the smut in this particular book, it was hilarious, honestly. Sometimes you read smut and you're like, wow, this is really good. I am like very into this moment with them. And then other times you're like, no, I'm laughing because what is going on?
Yeah, what is happening?
They had like, there was just so much time where the Kui was resonating and trying to get these two to mate.
Yeah.
And they were, well, Rahash was down, but Liz said, no, nuh-uh. And they would just angrily masturbate
in front of each other from across the cave. Yeah. I also had that on my additional scenes list. So, yeah, I definitely feel like the scenes in this particular one were not as good as the last one. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not into masturbating in front of another person that I like. I don't know. That just it feels weird. That seems weird to me personally. I get it. People are into different things, but
like a one-off, sure. It just like
yeah,
occurred
but
a lot.
like a lot of time. Yeah, it was quite frequent that this would be happening. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any additional thoughts?
What else? We already touched on like the Stockholm syndrome. That's pretty self-explanatory. The only other thing that I think that I was curious about from last time was we had mentioned how long do we think that they're going to be pregnant for?
Oh,
and
yes.
It was mentioned in there that the doctor did mention that the gestation period for the aliens is 3 years. 3 fucking years. So not only are they having to take this parasite to live, they also are being impregnated and then have to carry said baby for potentially 3 years. They also don't know because they're kind of just guessing that it's going to be between 9 months and 3 years. So yeah. Someone commented on one of our TikToks from last week's episode that like they were shocked that the girls were just like okay with being moms all of a sudden. And I was like, yeah, That's a great point. And also none of them asked any questions like beforehand of like how long or like, you know, will I live if will this alien like, you know, kill me somehow whenever it's being birthed or like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see that being a thing. Like, what if it's like you're a meal for your newborn? Then like maybe that's why there's not that many females in the tribe. Who knows?
That's
Plot
so funny.
points for days.
That's like a horror movie script.
Yeah, for sure.
Which honestly, that kind of carries back to my hot take of it not being a romance. Because
that's fair.
I guess since we're at additional thoughts, we can discuss that too.
Hell yeah. Go for it.
It's mostly just every single thing that occurs to these girls, and in this book in particular, is only okay because Rahash is conventionally he's not conventionally attractive, but okay, Rahash is an attractive, desirable object, and we are willing to overlook it, or at least we're trying to overlook it for the suspension of disbelief. But anybody else that did that would go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he even is actually breaking a law on not Haas.
From his own tribe, right. That's fair.
And then at the end of it, we are supposed to want him to not be punished because Liz got Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah.
Because he got what he wanted?
Yeah. It also very much, like, again, that kind of ties back into the pick me thing. She, like, only wanted him and only wanted his validation. Like, at the end.
I did love that. When she was sowing dissension between the rest of the family cave. She was just like, I will be everyone's problem until I get what I want.
Until I get whatever the fuck I want. Yeah.
Let me see my kidnapper.
I love my Stockholm beast.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely was so manipulative. So manipulative. That's why I gave her 100%.
Did you want to discuss survey comments? There were a few people from the survey that left some comments.
Yeah, go for it. Read some.
Yes, I agree with them a lot. And one of them actually has a question for us.
Oh,
okay. One commenter left, Liz's bad attitude and stubbornness is relatable and more realistic than how Georgie was portrayed. I think Rahash was a lot more respectful than Vektal. And then they ask, who would you choose out of the two? So out of Rahash and Vektal, who would you choose? I think I know the answer here, but I'd like to hear it.
You'd like to hear it?
Yeah.
I would choose Rahash. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I would probably choose Rahash. It's hard. It's a hard decision. I know that your type is definitely Rahash. Like, you're for sure choosing Rahash. That's fair.
Oh, for sure.
We do normally pick different people, though. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. I agree with that. Plus, also, like, I wouldn't want you're just all of a sudden a chief's wife if you're picking Vektal. Nah. No, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, Georgie had a hard time, especially with Liz acting a fool.
Well, that's just because Liz is a bitch. But sure.
But that would have been your problem. And you would have had to be diplomatic or be like, you know what? We keep calling them barbarians. Let's have a pit fight right now.
Can I choose a different option? Can I be Kira and hang out with Ayako?
I agree.
I want
That's
Ayako.
fair.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'm hoping they get to, actually fall in love. I think they even have a word for it.
Yeah.
Like heartmate or something like that.
Oh, that's cute.
It is cute, and it also makes me sad.
What a shame that I won't be finishing this series.
Yeah, that, and again, you're supposed to care about these two couples together, but I feel like this series in general, the Kui is almost used as a soulmate's skin, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Because they have already pointed out that Rahash's parents were not happy together.
Right. That you can
just
resonate. You can resonate with multiple people then. Yeah. I totally agree. I like how you said that too, that it's, I like that phrasing a lot. Hell yeah.
I have lots of opinions about this as a person that reads so many romance novels and is a big fan of the soulmates genre in general.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's all the additional scenes that I have. Do you have more comments?
Yes, just a few more here. One commenter, they really liked Liz's Katniss moment and taking care of injured Rahash, and that made her a baddie. I would agree.
That's fair.
She was a baddie.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Then she was just bad.
Always bad, sometimes a baddie.
Sometimes a baddie, yes.
And then they also mentioned just wanting to discuss that Rahash was a virgin, which is our concept, but they seem to have that concept a little bit.
Yeah.
Of wanting, experience in their partners, or it seems like it will be common, though, that they don't have experience, considering there are only about 4 women that are not human.
Right. Yeah, so it is very common for that to be the case with them, for sure. So yeah, and I did like how they wrote Liz to handle that, honestly, because I don't know, I would have been so pissed at her if she would have just kept on being a bitch during that, especially, like,
Fair.
It would have been awful.
That probably would have made her irredeemable
in my eyes. In my eyes,
I think in a lot of eyes, honestly. Ruby had to throw us a few bones. Like,
that's fair.
She threw me that Liz is an archer, and specifically that targeted me.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yes, because Ruby knew one day I would read this book.
Yep, pandered directly to Adrian in the year 2021 on Twitch. Yep.
Yes.
On this podcast. Good.
A sign from the universe.
Nice. Just for you.
All right. Thank you, Ruby.
All right. So let's overall rating of the book is next, I believe.
Yes.
What'd you rate it?
I'm
Our ratings are
giving
already
it.
up there because I fucked up the
Yep.
transitions. Whoops. Well, there you
Let
go.
me. There we go.
I give it 1.5 ribbed dicks out of 5.
And I'm giving it 2 ribbed eggplants out of 5.
That's fair. Okay.
These are my eggplants. I made them in Procreate.
In Procreate. Yes. And then I photoshopped 1.5.
Yes.
Yay.
They're beautiful.
Yeah. I have said this a few times. I was a little let down by this book, but
I was. And especially, I think on reading it, if I had just read it and didn't have to think about it critically
yeah.
afterwards, I would have been a lot less let down. But because I was forced to analyze it,
Yeah.
because I do that on Fridays.
Because this is a podcast.
Because this is a podcast and I
That's
analyze books.
Hell yeah.
Because of that, I was forced to think about how messed up everything actually was. And now it's a 2. But if I had just read it
Yeah.
in the usual feverish haze that I normally read books, it would have been just like another blip in the radar of breeding kinks and Stockholm syndrome.
Breeding kinks and Stockholm syndrome. Just another stop along the fantasy line.
Yes.
Fair enough. That is, yeah, I agree with
Yes.
everything that you just said for sure. All right, so this is, yes, next week. What are we covering? Do you want me to read the summary?
I would love you if you did that.
All right, so this is Somewhere Between Love and Justice, and yes, lesbian cowgirls is definitely the theme. 3 lives meet at an unimaginable crossroad in this story of love, loss, and loyalty in the Old West. Sarah Sawyer has spent the last 10 years reliving a nightmare. With her horse Clover, she takes to the trails in search of solitude and revenge, while she shares a common goal and close bond with a U.S. Marshal, Jesse Walker. Another silently holds Sarah's heart. Now successful saloon owner, Jo Porter has moved on from her past and has spent over the last year wishing for the return of the mysterious blonde gunslinger who ran off with her heart after a night of passion. A misstep along Sarah's path to justice reunites the pair. Will the gunslinger be able to let love in, or will her thirst for vengeance lead her down a path of no return? So yeah, if you guys want to read along with us, and then tune in next week for those of you who are watching currently, we will also have the same form for a survey as well. So keep an eye out for that in the description of things and or a link in our link trees. I'm going to try to just link that form then, is what I've decided. So
yeah, that's fair.
Since it's going to be the same every week. But yeah, I'm very excited. I started reading it last night, so I'm liking it so far.
Yes, I'm very excited to read it when Alyssa is done.
Hell yeah. I also love I'm very glad we did cowboys. I don't know why. Just about that. I'm very excited to explore all the random different settings and genres for sure.
Yes, I'm very excited to force you to.
Fair enough. If you guys have any suggestions too, before we get into the plugs here, for books that we should read in the future that you liked, let us know, because I'm definitely open for recommendations on things that people want to see. So yeah, this is the end of our podcast now. Adrian, you want to plug your shit?
Yeah, I'm plugging it.
All right,
plug me in,
plug
coach.
Away.
Here's my links. You can follow me here at Adrian Games, and you can go to my link tree /adriandrawful, and my Twitter is also at adriandrawful, 18 plus only. I'm afraid of children.
I'm not here for children's entertainment as well, and obviously this is a smut book podcast, so what are you doing here anyway? 18 plus, so what's up on all of my links?
Yeah.
But yeah, linktree/Mirror31, Twitch Mirror31, and at alyssakissaxx on Twitter. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm very excited for next week. Let us know suggestions. And we will see you guys later.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Goodbye.